Now, to bring you back, welcome to part 2 of vstrom oil change, clutch, fluid, replace, flush, chain and sprockets. I found my tripod. It's hanging up in the garage on the wall, so I might use that if I'm feeling a bit frisky. Anyway, I'm going to show you something. I've done a bit of shopping, and I'm going to go over a couple of bits that I did yesterday where I didn't say certain things that are quite important. So hope you enjoy, and hopefully this one won't be an hour long like last night's. So cheers, stick around, stay tuned, as they say. Famous people say that. Okay, just been shopping. My car place is literally probably quarter of a mile from my house, the car shop. So, and they give me trade discount there as well. That's not the Halfords one, this is the Motor Factors. They're brilliant up there. It's probably because I'm in there every other day getting stuff for my fleet of 6 vehicles. Anyway, brake cleaner, because although I've got this clean, I'm going to get this outside in a minute. There's still a load of gunk all around where the chain slider thing is, and there's lots of dirt in here. So brake cleaner. I bought myself a 24mm socket, even though I own a 24mm 1/2" drive socket. I own one, but that was for the rear axle. Hang on. But there ain't a 24mm socket in here anywhere. So I've lost it somewhere. God knows where, because I only do my work here. I suppose I do a bit out in the garden. Maybe it's attached to the axle of one of my previous Suzukis that's riding around in someone else's hands now. But I definitely do not have a 24. I've got a gap there, but these are, I think these are all my Imperial, yeah, 7/8 an inch. That's probably for the 15 something that I used. 15/16, 23. Right, so my 24 needs to go there, and the 15/16 needs to go here. I got all sidetracked again, didn't I? But get in. Now I've broken the clip. Right, get in there. OCD. Get in. Yes. Right. So yeah, that's where my 24 used to live. So I've bought a new one. It's not in here amongst all this weird shaped stuff. No. Oh, sorry about that. Got distracted. Okay, torch. Oh, I need to put some more batteries in my torch, don't I? Right, a few things, a few updates. That thing on there, which I thought was some sort of weird locking device for the front sprocket, isn't. The front sprocket just locks with its own locking nut and thread lock, and 115 Newton meters. And that little thing with 4 ends, I should have guessed, is the pickup for the speedometer sensor. So the sensor goes through the casing, and it just picks up these pulses, and I've just thread locked that in. Yeah, so that's that. So now I know what that is. I'm just not used to modern motorcycles. I'm used to having a speedo drive going to the front wheel, a la Honda XL250, CX500, and all the other bikes. Anyway, that's enough of that. The other thing is, when I was torquing up the sprocket, two things. The sprocket faces with the writing outwards, and there's a little groove on the outside for some reason, but that's how it faces. When I was torquing up the sprocket to 60 Newton meters, which is the correct one, I had to cush drive, not the rubber bit, but the sprocket housing in my vise. My vise wasn't actually done up. I had my towel in there, and I made it just big enough so that the 4 prongs of the cush drive would sit in there, and then as I talked it would just lock into the vise. I didn't actually do the vise up because that would probably potentially could misshape that. What else was there? There's some other, oh yes, the tool of doom. Right, I figured out how this all works. Like I said, I haven't used it for 7 years. Every bike I've had ever since 2012 has had a new chain and sprockets on it, so I've not had to use this. Anyway, I figured it. This is what I need to put the chain on, to put the link on, and this is what I need to make the rivet splay out a tiny bit at the end. I'd like to say that I worked it out all on my own, but I didn't. I watched another Del Boy video from about 2 years ago. He did a chain of sprockets on the Triumph Scrambler, Penny's bike, and his tool, albeit not the same tool as this, the principle is exactly the same, and it was enough for me to be able to work out what I need to do with this tool. I suppose I would have got there in the end, but it's nice to... I'm just messing around again. Look, ball bearing. Doesn't live in there, it lives in there. Now I'm really annoyed. Got to get that out. Magnet. So anyway, so it's nice just to watch a video of somebody else doing it, so that you can just confirm in your mind. This is where you find out it's stainless steel and it doesn't pick up the magnet. Yeah, just to confirm in your mind that you're doing it right. So that's the gear. Oh, it doesn't live in there. Happy days. I know where it lives. It lives inside here somewhere. Right, it's enough of that. Keep that out for when I drop bits. Bike outside again, avoiding rain, and I'm going to clean all this up. Right, glasses. I don't like brake cleaner in my eyes. I've got the phone on my tripod tethered to the electrical outlet because I need to keep the battery going. I've sort of worked out finally that if I put the phone in selfie mode, then I can see what I'm filming. What I've been doing before is having it in normal camera, and then I can only see if I went round the back. So anyway, hopefully it'll be a bit better. Anyway, all I'm going to do is if you watch South Main Auto, you'll understand what I just did there. If you don't, it will just confirm that I'm a complete nutter. Anyway, go and watch some South Main Auto videos. You'll love it. SMA. Right, well, I'm just going to clean this stuff up, so I'm sure you won't want to watch all that. And I'm sure I'm going to get through both cans of this brake cleaner. Wow, this is doing a good job. Just seems a shame to put it back together with still a load of junk in it. This seems to be working. I need to concentrate on this chain guide, which is really awkward to get to. Anyway, I'll be back when I've cleaned this. And the pause button don't work. Right, that's a can and a half of brake cleaner done. Well, actually 2 cans of brake cleaner done. Ding! Oh, I'm so childish. Right, time to start messing around with the chain. Alrighty, put the camera back round the other way now, so chances are I'll probably be in the way like I was yesterday when I was doing stuff. That's my clutch actuator pin. I'm going to grease that before it goes back in. Right, it's a bit arse about face. Now, this doesn't appear to have any particular side. They both look the same. Rivets are the same, and it's got writing on both sides on odd links. So it's going to make it really awkward for myself. Get it dirty already, which is not good. This is awkward. The reason I wanted to clean off all that gunk off the chain slider, obviously it was brand new chain and sprockets. Didn't want all that dirt and grit going on the new chain and sprockets, but now I'm picking up dirt and grit off the floor and putting it on my new chain and sprockets, which is nice. Just made it stupidly awkward. So, it helps if you're in neutral. Neutral territory. There we go. Right. Just gonna put some grease on that and put it back in the oil. Actually, I'll just put it back in the oil now before I lose it, and then I'll forget to put some grease on it. Just cleaned all that. It's filthy. Right, I'll get the old link out and we'll get a nice close up on this and try and explain what I'm doing. But like I said before, don't do what I'm doing. Just go on YouTube. Look up what you're doing, you'll find much better videos on there. I don't even know why I'm videoing it. It's just to make things twice as long for me. But I know my handful of subscribers out there, which I appreciate, thank you. I know you like to see what I've been getting up to, so you must be gluttons for punishment. Okay, in the chain kit we have the link, the front plate, 4 X-rings or O-rings. These are X-rings, I don't know what the difference is. And some assembly grease. I'm going to use all of that putting this together. This is scary because last time I did this in 2012 on my Triumph Daytona Street Fighter 1200 tracker build thing, I lost one of these O-ring X-rings in the garage. I spent about 3 hours looking for it, and in the end I ordered a new link just to get the X-rings, and I've probably still got that link somewhere in my stash. Anyway, here goes. See how much of this you can see with my poor camera work. behind the camera I've gone back on what I said earlier. So right, put a ton of grease on. Mainly to hold the X-rings in place. Can you see me? And I've got rubber gloves on, which doesn't help. Right, greasy X-rings, greasy grease. So I better put a load on the shafts as well. Matron. Sorry, I'm trying to do this from behind the camera. Anyway, tons of grease on. Stick it through the 2 holes from the back. There she goes, right the way through. Wipe hands. Same on the front. Greasy grease. X-ring. Front plate. I've got the writing on the outside. Don't know if it makes any difference. Pardon me. And just going to push that over the top of the 2 pins, and that doesn't even want to compress at all. Okay, I think I'm going to give you a different angle. Okay, for compressing that plate onto the front here, my tool has got this little geezer. That's like, those holes are bigger than the pins, so the plate will sit against this. That sits in there, and then on the back side, the back of the rivets sits against this face. There's some indentations there, but it doesn't line up with the front. Anyway, I'm just going to get on with it. I'm faffing. What I didn't do is bring a spanner to go on the end of that. So stop there, I'll get a spanner for it. Right, this tool's a bit different to the one that Delboy was using, but does the same job. All I'm doing is just pressing the 2 outer links, the plates together, and avoiding the rivets. And then when I've got it where I think it's near, I'm going to measure it with some calipers. Sorry you can't see this very well. There you go. Oh, I'm doing it just a bit by bit, so I don't want to overcook it. It's not looking too far out, so come here. calipers. The battery's working. 0. See that? Yep. Right. The link. Got 19.18 on the link, and 19.27 on the one I've just done. So check another one. 19.11, 19.09, so they're not all regular. 19.20, and the one I've just done, 19.27. Don't do it, Springy. Don't do it. Leave it where it is. It's near enough. You're going to overdo it. You know you are. All right, 0. $19.20. Oh, come on. 19.20 on the link next to it. 19. Come here. 21, 26, 23, 21, 22, 25. It's near enough. Right, turn that off. So my battery off. Thank you. Okay, so that's that. Might not have been the right exact tool for it, but there you go. And now the tools I need to slightly flare these pins out. That tool goes into the pin, pushes in and just flares it a bit. This tool sits on the back of the pin, so it pushes the pin but not the plate. So it's just the pin being compressed and not the plate. So put them both in. Oh, have to take certain adapters out of this. I hope you can see all this. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to attempt to measure the head of the pin before I start, so that then I know I've got a little bit of compression. Although, like in Delboy's video, you can't see it. What happens is, as it compresses in, when it's fully compressed, this tool should be able to sit just nicely into the rivet and sit flush around the edge, which means it's been expanded. Right, measure first. Measure. Okay. Measure upside down. Right, upside down. Right, that's 0'd. So at the moment, the head of the pin is 5.32. Every time I pull the machine away, it slides open a bit. 5.3. Bloody backwards. Stupid thing. Well, it's not a stupid thing. It's a stupid user. And now it's started to rain. Right, 5.37. 5.42. So 5.37, 5.42. Right, on this one, sure you can't. Can you see that? No, you probably can't. Try Try and get this a bit nearer, dearer. What am I? Right, if you can see this at all, just basically cranking this down to spread that pin. Which it feels like it's doing. Oh, pop the chain off, why don't you? I think that's done a good job because I couldn't get the tool out the end. Right, the same on that side. Oh, it's so awkward with the camera in the way. Okay, let's see where we got to. Camera's about to fall over. Back to 0, come on. .30. Used a big bit. 5.35. 5.35. Both of them. Well, I'm going to attempt to give that a bit more, just for my own peace of mind. I'll turn the camera off for a bit because it's not helping, being in the way. Sorry about that. Right, it actually works much better if you do it from the end like you're supposed to. I'm holding the handle in my right hand and I'm pushing down on the spanner with my left hand, and that's getting a good, really good squeeze on that. It's well and truly flared. I'm just paranoid, as you would be when it's your chain and you've got serious amounts of torque going through there. Yeah, that tool is, I'm pushing on that, is actually doing nothing. I've completely and utterly peened that out. There's no more left in that. And there aren't any other tools that actually fit in there that would do the job. So it must be that one. That's enough of that, I think. Well, of course, because I took the bike outside to do it, it started raining again. So it's either going to stop raining enough, or I'm going to have to bring it back in here where I hate it, to put all the bits back on it, and then set the chain tension, rear wheel, put it all back together. Don't really need to video that because you've seen me take it all apart, and every bike's different. You'll have different torque settings, but no doubt I'll film it anyway. And we're already at 20 minutes this video, so it's probably going to be another long one. Righto, back indoors. I've just adjusted the rear wheel chain tension just very roughly. There's probably too much tension on it at the moment. I don't know till I get it on the side stand and measure it. But anyway, all I've done is I've just wound out the adjuster bolts. Both sides I've got it on exactly, so the halfway notch is just disappearing. I've done up the lock nut, which is now a 13, not a 12, which is good because all my 13mm spanners are in a lot better condition than my 12s. So anyway, and I've tightened up the axle bolt with a 24, not torqued it, just because I'm going to have to reset the chain. So now I can get back onto all of this cobblers. So here goes. Something I also forgot to mention, this clutch slave cylinder, I've tied it up with cable ties because they tend, I don't know why, but they tend to creep outwards. So if you just leave it hanging, your piston will gradually work its way out overnight and then drop out, and then you need to clean it and redo it. But luckily I remembered and got that done. Right, given up with the tripod. I'm just going to start bolting things back on and give you little updates as I go. Basically, going to find out what the torque settings for these are. They're probably like 10 Newton meters or something. A bit of copperies on each thread, copper slip, anti-seize, whatever. Get it all bolted back together, and then it's just the chain adjustment. Okie dokie. Right, I'm sorry I skipped the section, but I just got to get it back together. The clutch cover bolts are 10 Newton meters. I'll be very honest with you, I didn't use my 1/4 inch drive torque wrench. I did them up by hand, and you know, I've probably done them up tighter than 10 Newton meters, which is not anything to boast about, but I did them up by feel. So all of these bolts, 10 Newton meters, even the ones in the clutch slave cylinder. Now behind the slave cylinder, in front of, outside of the plastic cover and inside of the slave cylinder, is the rubber grommet, and it's like a dome shape. Now the only way I can describe it, the way it goes on, it looks like a nipple. Okay, that apologies for that, but that's what it looks like. So it goes on domed with the nipple outwards. 10. Now this top bolt here is the longer bolt of the two. That's the shorter, that's the longer, not by much, about 5mm longer. That is the one that's got the aluminium sleeve behind it, because this bolt goes straight into the house casting. This one, there's about 1.5 inch aluminium spacer that lives behind that. So what I did was put the bolt through, put the aluminium spacer on it, and then guided it in. Now you have to get all your wires out of the way. It's a faff anyway. So yeah, 10 Newton meters, and to be honest, I know I've done these up tighter by hand than 10, which is not a good thing, but I wanted to get it back together. And this little kiddie here, same again, 10. Oh, so what else was there? There was something else, I can't remember. That's all in. Clutch, it actually feels good clutch wise, better than it ever has, because I bled it. Now I'm not sure whether I actually just need a new set of clutch plates in this. Once I've ridden it, now that I've bled that clutch system, we'll find out. It don't slip, so I suppose it doesn't need new clutch plates, but there's sometimes it doesn't want to go into neutral or first at traffic lights. Now that may well be because the old fluid and a bit of air and stuff in there. So I'll try it now. If it's improved, I'll leave it. If it's not, I shall put a new clutch in. Now since I've had it, it's always been, the clutch bite has always been quite a long way out on the lever. I'm used to my clutches biting pretty close to the lever on all my other bikes. It might just be the vstrom thing, or maybe those clutches are worn, but it only had 29,000 on it when I got it. It's got 32 now, whatever. It's not a high mileage bike unless somebody just abused the clutch, or I don't know. Not used to changing clutches at 30,000, but there you go. We'll see. So next step, I'm going to get this onto the side stand, because it says to measure your chain slack. On the side stand you find the point between the two sprockets, and then you measure the slack of the chain. I'm going to check the manual again. I can't remember what it is. I think it's up to 1 inch on this, but I'm going to check it, and then I'll adjust it again. I'm already halfway up on the adjuster, so it's obviously quite a long chain to start with. If it's looking too long, I might have to take it all apart and take a link out, but that might put me... Anyway, I think it's going to be fine. So, do I dare take it outside again? Yeah, sod it, I'm taking it outside. It's a lot easier to do the slack adjustment tension outdoors. Just don't like being indoors. Right, this is why I plasterboarded this side of the garage. It's not really, but anyway, I've just written on there dl1000 chain, 20 to 30 mil on side stand, and some of the other ones I've come across, rear sprocket, front sprocket. Yeah, I tend to write all my stuff on the wall just for convenience. Underneath all them tools was loads of stuff I'd written about the Escort when I was building that. So there you go. Right, sort of want to do it here because it's dry on the floor, but I also want to do it out there even though it's wet on the floor. So let's see what happens. Okay, I've measured from the centre of the front sprocket to the centre of the back sprocket. That's 26 inches dead, and the middle, which is 13 inches, is conveniently right behind this exhaust pipe. So put some stuff down. I can't do this. Can I prop you up on there on the roll of masking tape so that you can see? No, I can't. You see that? Anyway, ruler behind the chain. You can pick top, bottom, whatever you want, as long as it's the same point when you measure it. Moving the chain up, it's way too slack. You can't see because the bloody the centre stand's in the way. Right, so at the moment I've got way more than 30 mil. So I shall wind back the adjusters bit by bit in increments, and slacken the axle nut first, wind the adjusters back until I get what I want there, and then lock them off, and then do up the axle bolt, making sure that the measurement is exactly the same both sides. And I shall probably use my caliper that because I'm completely over the top. Right, I have got the adjustment now exactly, oh, I can't show it, it's exactly 20 mil. It said 20 to 30, I've done it to 20 because it's a new chain, and obviously it's going to start to wear a little bit and bed in, slacken off. So I've done it, I don't know if that's right or not, but I've done it to 20. I can't show you that because I need lots of hands, but what I was doing before, ruler in there. I'm trying to hold down the bloody side stand, stupid thing, the main stand. But imagine I've got 2 fingers on this and 2 hands on this, and it's going up. Anyway, take my word for it, it's 20 mil. And then what I did is I put it on the main stand, and obviously I made sure these were exactly the same distance from the end and on the same marks, and then I locked these, locked that against that, and then I did the axle nut up to 100 Newton meters, and the measurement my measurement, not on this ruler. Was it on this ruler? Where did I have it? Maybe it was on this one. Anyway, I had exactly 11 millimeters to the edge on both sides. Yes. And then I also measured them with the caliper to get them perfect. But that battery I've just replaced in there obviously didn't work, so I've had to go old school, and that's again 11 meters dead on exactly on both sides, so I know that my rear wheel is square, central, true, whatever. It might look a tiny bit tight. I say it's 20, it's bang on 20, but I'm thinking, oh, no focus, come on. Oh, where are you? No, it must be something on the lens. Yeah, there was grease on the lens. Right, like I was saying, it's exactly on 20. Now, it's very hard to tell because where the central point is, the chain runner on the bottom of the swinging arm stops you going fully up, but I've got it so it goes up like 1 millimeter before touching the bottom plastic runner. Gives me 20 mil. Now if I go any slacker on the chain, I can't get a proper reading because it's hitting that first, so that's what I've got. Okay, so all I need to do now that it's stopped raining, is unwind all my torque wrenches, take the tension off. Oh, that one is already, good boy. Put all my tools away. Bike was nice and clean before I started. I actually cleaned it before I started the job, which is nice. Now it's filthy. Glad I bought the 24mm socket. The other one will turn up now, of course. Yeah, so I just need to go and ride it now and find another battery for my caliper. Otherwise I've got to read things like we used to do at school off of dials. It's much better when you've got a digital display in it if you're lazy. So that's it. Providing there's no dramas. I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. It's probably really long again, but peace and love. I've been Springy. Sun's nearly out, going for a ride. Test that clutch. It's probably fine. We'll see. I shall report back at a later date. See you later.